In the summer of 2021, millions of people followed young woman's road trip in real life. Her Instagram was full of sunsets, national parks, live event photos. She looked happy, she looked free. On September 11th, her mother filed a missing person report. 8 days later, her body was found in Wyoming. But today I don't just want to talk about what happened to Gabby Petito. I want to talk about what the case exposes. Something uncomfortable about how we pay attention, who we fight for. Especially where our minds are blown out by the aesthetics, so we can't notice anything. Hi, welcome to Pretty Dark Mind. Let's get into it. Gabby Petito was 22 years old from Blue Point, New York. She was artistic, she loved yoga, she loved outdoors, and was with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, since they were teenagers. In 2021, the couple decided to live van life dream. 4 months across America's national parks, documenting everything on social media. Gabby ran a YouTube channel and Instagram. The content was beautiful, scenic roads, 2 people in love. What the content didn't show, what it was carefully curated not to show, is that relationship had their darker side. Friends and family later described Laundrie as increasingly controlling. He reportedly took Gabby's wallet and ID to prevent her from going outside. Text messages revealed in Netflix documentary showed Gabby trying to manage his mood, to apologize for something that was not her fault, walking on an eggshells. On August 12th, police in Moab, Utah responded to a report of domestic violence episode including a couple. A man called 911 said that he saw a man slapping a woman outside the van. Officers arrived. They spoke both to Gabby and Brian separately. Gabby, visibly distressed, crying throughout all the interaction, said that she was an aggressor. She apologized for him and she asked not to separate them. The officers characterized this as mental health episode rather than domestic violence, which would require an immediate arrest. They organized for Brian a room in a motel overnight and left Gabby alone in the van. No charges, no follow-ups. The couple continued their trip. 2 weeks later, Gabby was found dead. Gabby's last confirmed contact with her family was a FaceTime with her father on August 21st. On August 27th, her mother received a text message from Gabby's phone referring to her grandfather as Stan. Gabby never used this name. This was the moment the mother understood that something was wrong. On September 1st, Brian Laundrie drove Gabby's van back to his family home in Northport, Florida, alone. He said nothing to Gabby's family. His family said nothing. They just hired a lawyer and went silent. On September 11th, 10 days after Brian brought Gabby's van back, her mother filed a missing person report. Within hours, police informed that Brian drove the van back alone. Gabby's stepfather later said, "The moment I saw the police officer coming into my door, I knew she was not here anymore." Brian was named a person of interest. His parents still said nothing. His parents' attorney released statements hoping that Gabby will be found. And as the later lawsuit shows, they already knew that she was dead. On September 13th, Brian left his parents' home. 4 days later, his family reported him missing. On September 19th, Gabby's remains were found in Wyoming, Bridger-Teton National Forest. The cause of death was manual strangulation. The Gabby Petito case became one of the most covered cases in American history. Within a couple of days, it was everywhere. News channels, TikToks, Reddit, true crime podcasts. And almost immediately, something very uncomfortable started being said out loud. While millions of people were searching for Gabby, thousands of people, primarily women of color and indigenous women, were also missing. Their cases received almost no coverage, no viral hashtags, no national news segments. Journalists and advocates gave this a name: a missing white woman syndrome. It's a documented pattern where the cases involving young white women receive disproportionate amount of attention by media rather than cases including Black women, indigenous women, or women of color. Don't get me wrong, this is not a criticism about Gabby Petito. The people who followed her case did the right thing. I'm just telling that disparity is real and it matters. The National Crime Information Center in 2020 reported that Black Americans made up to 34% of missing people, despite being only 13% of population. Most of these cases were barely covered. The Gabby's case accidentally held up a mirror to something what was happening in the media for decades, and for a moment everybody looked into it. In October 20th, 2021, 37 days later, Laundrie was reported missing. His body was found in a national preserve in Florida. The cause of death was suicide. Near his body was found a notebook in which he admitted killing Gabby. He claimed that she has been injured in accident and suffered, and he ended her life to stop her pain. The claim is inconsistent with an autopsy findings, which shows that there was no prior accident. In 2022, the court awarded Gabby's family with $3 million for wrongful death settlement. A separate lawsuit against Brian's family, saying that his family knew about Gabby's death while publicly expressing that they hope her to be found soon, also was established in 2024 with an undisclosed amount. Brian's sister has since said that she estranged herself from the family. She claims she knew nothing. But I think that the full truth of what Laundrie family knew and when may never be established. The first is coercive control, which Laundrie showed excessively and that goes beyond physical violence. Isolating, taking the funds and controlling the movement, making the person feel responsible for their actions and for all relationship problems. This goes much beyond. And it's harder to report than any bruises. And it's much harder to leave such situation and to leave such relationships. The second is something called the halo effect. We appear to think that people who are young, attractive, who show success, who show happiness on social media are safe. Gabby's Instagram made their relationships look perfect. Brian appeared calm and polite with police and mob, while Gabby was visibly distressed, and police decided to believe him over her. The aesthetics of their life obscured of what actually was happening. Just remember that social media doesn't show us reality. It shows us the reality somebody wants us to see. And sometimes the gap between these two is where the danger is. Gabby was 22 years old with whole life planned. The park she hadn't seen, the places she hadn't been to, and the new chapter of the life starting with this exact van road trip. I hope her case did at least one thing: make people pay attention, not only to the viral cases, but to every cases that are happening around. And what do you think? Should the media be accountable for which person's cases they cover? And did this case change the way you think what you see on social media? Let me know in the comment section. Subscribe if it was your kind of content. New video is coming soon.